Hey y'all, I'm Karyn.
And I'm Mingo.
And this is the Mingo and Karyn Show.
We're back.
And we welcome you to our channel. We're excited about today's topic. But first of all, let me give you a little bit of background. Mingo and I have been married now for 27 years.
It's a long time around the moon.
Yeah. Okay.
How about the sun, not the moon?
How about both of them? Because they both...
We do both.
Okay, we do both. So, yeah, we've been married for 27 years. We have raised 4 children who are now adults, and we finally got our last one out of college. Won't he do it?
Empty nesting.
Yes. And so, but what we decided to do, we started a podcast a couple of years ago, and we decided to start this channel so that we could, put our faces with our voices.
Yep.
And so we want to tell you all the things that no one ever told us about how to manage our relationship, how to make things work, life advice. I mean, we're trying to give it all. Yeah, absolutely. And so, what we want to touch on today is something that we taught our children when they were growing up, which is to learn how to trust your instincts.
Yeah, trusting your instincts, I'm very big on that.
Yes.
I'm very big on if you're doing something, you have to trust your gut. You may have all the information, you may done your research, you may have even failed at it before, but you have to trust your instinct because no moment is the exact same moment.
Absolutely.
You come to the table with different information. You come to the table with different confidence.
Yes.
And then when it comes to trusting your instincts, it's like a spidey sense almost.
Absolutely. And I think what's important is to make sure that, and for somebody who may have not ever even heard of this before, or know how to take this as far as the advice that we're giving, the first step is really paying attention to what you're feeling. So if something feels off, like if you feel uneasy about something, or if you feel like this is not right, your instincts are telling you, hey, either don't go that route, don't do that thing. And on the opposite end, then if something is like, oh yeah, I should do this, and something is nudging you and pushing you to do something, then that's a time where you can, move forward and doing something good for yourself. So it works both ways.
Yeah, I know when the kids were coming up, I used to always say to them, if you have to think twice about it, don't do it. You just don't do it. That's your inner instinct, that feeling. All these things we're talking about, telling you, it's protecting you.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
It's built in your system to protect you from you, or protect
something
you from
else.
something. When you feel like, hey, something just doesn't feel right. I feel uneasy about this, so I don't kind of want to do this. I'll do this another day.
Absolutely.
And I think when you think like that, that's just an extra level of protecting yourself.
Absolutely.
Being aware of your surroundings. And it doesn't have to be a dangerous situation.
Absolutely.
It could be a positive situation. Yeah. But you just say, hey, you know what? I don't think I want to sign that. Let me sleep on it.
Yeah.
Or let me have somebody else take a look at it, because it's always better to, have another set of eyes on it.
Absolutely. And I know if I start to feel like anxious about something or nervous, I've learned over the years to pay attention to that feeling, because it means that I shouldn't do it. Yeah. It's something, if and I'm not talking about a nervous excitement. I'm talking about a nervousness like, it doesn't feel right for me to do this. And then I make a decision to go ahead and do it anyway. And just from our past experience with us being as old as, we are now, understanding that, especially when we were in our 20s, me, I learned like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. And then when you get on the other end of it and you realize that the result of that not trusting your instinct, it actually worked in an adverse way for you. It wasn't a good thing. And so learning how to pay attention to those things is good. Also, though, there are times where if I want to try something new, or I feel like an urge to try something new or to do something different, it's important to trust that too, because maybe something is trying to straight your instincts, or your gut is trying to get you to grow.
Yeah. And then you can't doubt yourself. Yeah. When you're going through all these emotions, and y'all, this stuff is happening real time, real fast. So we're not talking about, a long period of time. This can happen in a matter of seconds, minutes, or hours.
Say you're like buying a car or something, right? And you feel like, I need to go buy a car, and you got somebody convincing you and talking you into getting a car that's more expensive than what your budget is or something like that. But your instincts are telling you, no, let me just trust what I'm saying. I hear what this person is saying. I hear the incentives that they're offering, but my gut is telling me don't do it, and then you do it anyway. And then you end up with a hardship or whatever the case may be. But those feelings, like Mingo was saying, when you think about doubting yourself, that is when, based on somebody else's convincing you to do it, and you know that in your gut you're not supposed to do it, that is the moment when you actually don't doubt yourself, that you say, you know what, Karyn, this doesn't feel right. I hear what they're saying, but this is not the best choice for me to make.
Yeah, and like Karyn saying, using that of buying a car, you have to know when you go in that situation, you know what you want.
Yep.
But then you get caught up in the swirl of it. That's anything in life. You get caught up in the feeling of it. But you have to also have feeling, and you have to also be practical about it. You have to say, okay, I love this Escalade, but I don't love the fact it's $1,700 a month.
Right.
You have to look at things like that. You say, I love to take this trip, but right now at this moment, this trip gonna cost me $4,000.
How many times have we been taking a trip that's set us back?
There's so many other things I could be doing with this money, or with this time. I'm big on time management and say, hey, I want to go across town to the farmer's market, but I only have an hour to do it. Well, I don't need to go to farmer's market today.
Yeah, it's gonna take you 30 minutes with no traffic in Atlanta. 37 minutes to be exact.
And I'm also very, very big. Now, this particular thing, following your first mind, I live by that. I live by that because I had a period in my life in my 20s, because in your 20s you feel like you're fearless.
You sure do.
Can't nothing stop you. You can recover from anything because you're still young. You feel like you still got time. And
you think you've grown, but you're not.
I stopped using my first mind in my 20s. It was like, you get a little bit older, then you start overthinking, then you become this research person, and then you never get anything done. Yeah. When I operated on my first mind, that was my gut, that was my heart, that was my confidence. All those things were operating on one accord, but I doubted them. And I pushed back against myself.
Yeah, I think that from the beginning, I just never knew I never understood what identifying with my instincts meant. Yeah. I never understood that if it's a feeling that you have now, because you can have a healthy fear as well. Where it's like a cautionary, it's like you're like, don't do that, don't do that. Yeah. But I never could differentiate between how to make the proper decisions for myself. Yeah. Because the way that I grew up, decisions were just made for me. And so then, of course, when I go to college and it's like,
she met me.
We don't listen.
That's I'm gonna give smile.
No, it wasn't a smile. But not understand.
I'm gonna do it one more time.
No. But understanding how to make decisions also was a key thing to me learning how to understand what my instincts were, learning how to understand that inner voice in me that didn't want me to make a certain decision, or that would say, oh, Karyn, don't do that. Or sometimes not even understanding what not to do because it wasn't present in me, like in terms of my own consciousness. And so learning to hear your own voice, learning to trust your own self.
Hear your own voice, that's big.
Yes, learning to trust your own self to make decisions is vital. It is vital to being able to trust your instincts, because then you realize, okay, I am my own person. I do have my own thought process. There is a mechanism inside of me that says, Karyn, don't do that dumb mess. Don't make that decision. Don't go down that road, because I can tell you this now because I have made a lot of mistakes because I didn't know how to trust my own instincts. I didn't know how to process what that even felt like. I didn't know what it was. And so once I identified with it, then I learned how not to doubt myself when my instincts told me, don't do that. Do not do that.
Yeah. But I mean, when you start thinking about the stuff you're saying about not trusting your instincts, I believe this phrase came from that. A hard head make a soft
behind. We're gonna say behind.
Mm-hmm. Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
I think that's where it comes from. Yeah. Instincts. If you don't trust your instincts, what else is there to trust? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go in a situation and say, "Hey, Karyn, is it safe for me to be in there and she ain't been in there?" How that work?
Right.
Because a lot of times we say this a lot. People give advice
based on
their own experiences, own fears, own idea of it. Yeah. So when you have that little tingling thing going and you know it's safe for you to be there, push through that. Push through that emotion and see what's on the other side. Because when you get on that other side, you're going to immediately think, man, I should have done this a long time ago.
Oh,
or at least that's what I do. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I wasted all this time fearful of something I couldn't see.
Wow.
See, I operate very well on what I can't see. I know I have an idea of it. I know I want to work towards it, but I'm not the person that's going to get at the door and say, I ain't going in there. No.
Yeah. Well, if you get to the door, you walking in.
Because if we put in all this work as individuals, as a couple, as a group, as people, to get to a certain place in life, your instinct is smart.
You know something I just thought about? Our instinct to even start this podcast, to start this show, it was like something it's like we were looking for
an outlet.
And we were looking for people like us. And we didn't find them. So instinctively we knew that no matter what, we've got to do these videos. We've got to come and talk to you all, because one day what we're saying is going to resonate with somebody. It's going to make sense for you, or be able to help you in your life to be able to navigate it. So even us trusting our instincts to put ourselves out here, which is extraordinarily difficult sometimes because our goal is to be honest, but it's kind of hard to do. But we instinctively knew that, like, because we didn't know anybody like us, we knew we had to be the us that we were looking for. Funny story
What Karyn is saying, we're reaching out to people. We received a message from a young man that's 19 years old in London. So it was daytime for us. So I'm sure it was a different time for him, time zone over there. And he was saying how listening at and looking at our videos made him want to go outside and pursue a relationship. I mean, it hit him. It's like, he said, I don't even know how it happened up on this podcast. He said, but I'm glad I saw it. So now I'm finna go outside and make me some moves. You know what I'm saying? That was funny to us.
Make your moves, man.
That was funny to us because this is a 19-year-old. So that just goes to show you, man, sometimes you're just talking and you don't know who's listening.
Yeah, and I think also for us with, I used to not believe in the whole thing of, if I just touch one person, then I've done my job. I always felt like
people out of a couple million.
One person.
Don't quit your day job.
Yeah, like I used to think that was not a good thing. But if you keep touching one person at a time, who touches a person, who touches a person, who touches another person, then our message is getting across to more than one person. So that part of what we're doing was important for me to understand that it's going to spread and it's going to reach the people that it's supposed to reach. But like I said, it initially came about, it came about a few years ago. And I was like, babe, I think we need to do this. And we keep doing this every single week because our instincts keep telling us, hey, you have something to say, because we keep, we're coming up with topics, and we have our oldest son who's helping us produce and all of that. We have production meetings and all of those things. So it feels normal and natural to us, and your instincts should be the same way. They feel normal and natural. Even if it's whether it's on the positive side or the negative side, your instincts are there to lead and guide you. Learn how to trust yourself. That is to somebody who, like me, who didn't understand that there was even such dynamic to trust yourself. Like I trust Mingo. I trust, I have things outside of me that I trust, but hearing my own voice, trusting my own voice, my own ability to navigate through what I should and shouldn't be doing came about over time, which is why we want to tell you today, listen, if I didn't know what I was doing and I could grow into learning how to trust my own self, then you can too. Yeah. Don't doubt yourself. Believe in yourself. You are worthy. You are good enough. And you are telling yourself the right thing. Your gut is telling you what you should and shouldn't do. It's leading and guiding you for a reason. And you have to follow your first mind. If something comes up and it's like, I shouldn't be doing that, don't do it.
But you said that natural flow, normal and natural. I like that because I'm big on things flowing. Yes. A normal flow. If you are operating in a relationship, a job, a situation that doesn't flow, it doesn't feel normal, it doesn't feel natural, I'm not telling you to get out of it. I'm saying if you can't make it flow, you can't make it normal, you can't make it natural, there might be a possibility that you need a change. And that change may not be the other person.
Ooh, it might be you.
It may not be the job. It might be you coming in making things not normal, not natural, not flowing. So we believe in things just, going with the flow. YOLO, you only live once. And when
Yes.
you live by that philosophy, you got to be safe. You got to trust your instincts. You got to do all these things. But when you learn how to navigate through them,
Yes.
it's not like you whip out a lesson plan for every decision that you make.
Right.
You know, it's like, hey,
Right.
this looks good. You think about shopping or like shopping in a place with a bunch of different stores.
Yes.
Some stores pull you in. A lot of stores you just walk by. But it's something that pulls you in there, whether you like the article of clothing, whether you like the name brand, whether you like the store, whether you just whatever. Something pulls you in there. Life is just like that.
Wow.
Life pulls on you and it tugs on you because we are supposed to have great lives.
Wow.
I don't care what anybody say. I will go back and forth with anyone. You are supposed to have a great life.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
you know, and appreciate your life. And if you don't like where your life is, change it.
Yeah, but let me tell you something that you just said that was like a light bulb moment for me, literally. When you talked about you're in a mall, so there's a variety of stores that you can actually go to. There are different stores for different needs, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you walk past some to get to the one that you were moved and motivated to walk into, to find what it is that you need. You know, sometimes you might not find everything you need in that one store, but think about all the stores that you pass because they're not meant to for you to go into them.
Yeah, yeah.
Those ones that you pass are not meant for you to go into, so you don't get, that's good. You don't get distracted, y'all. Don't get distracted by the stores that ain't meant for you to go in, because see, sometimes we have regrets. That's why we saying trust yourself. Don't doubt yourself, because sometimes we have regrets thinking that we should have, could have, and would have gone into a store that wasn't meant for us to go into.
That's right.
See, I'm not going into a shoe store looking for a jacket.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know what I mean? So if I go in a shoe store, I'm specifically looking for shoes. Now, it depends on what kind of shoe I'm looking for. I'm not going to go into the dress shoe department in Macy's.
Looking for boots.
Right, or looking for tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Well, gym shoes, wherever area you from, sneakers. Okay, I'm from the South. But looking for everything is a tennis shoe, even though we ain't playing tennis in them, but I digress.
You can play tennis in them, baby. Don't worry about it.
Not all of them. But you know, you have to be, your instinct tells you where you need to go in order to get what you need to get, in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish. And the idea that you have an entire mall that is thousands of square feet big, but yet you walk into a specific place is exactly how we should live our lives and trust our instincts. Yeah. We should live our lives intentionally, walking into the store, walking into the area, walking down the path that we actually want to go down in life so that we get to our destination. The whole thing about life is getting to a destination. We're all on a path.
We are.
Every single one of us, and it doesn't have to be a physical path that you're walking down. It could be your spiritual path, your emotional path, your mental path. It could be a whole series of things, but we're each on a path to get to somewhere. And a part of that is being able to have a whole thought process, being able to know that, hey, let me be able to think clearly and know where I'm going with, like you said, you know, sometimes we mess up and we make decisions that we wish we hadn't made. Yeah. Right? But you give yourself grace, you keep going. And then you learn from what you learn. Hey, Karyn, don't go into Macy's dress shoes looking for tennis shoes. You have to be able to navigate past all of that and be able to quickly recover so that you can move on. But the thing that you can do is trust yourself. Trust that you know what's best for your life. You're equipped to do that.
Yeah, and like you said, being on that path, you have to put one foot in front of the other. Mm-hmm. You have to keep moving forward. And just like Karyn said with Macy's or any decision you're making in shopping or something like that, you just have to keep going forward. Life is designed for you to move forward. Mm-hmm. And if you don't continue to walk or continue in a forward direction, you won't get anywhere. Yes. The world is not going to stop and come to your doorstep. Wow. You got to walk outside of your house and believe that you have to be intentional. Mm-hmm. You have to know that I bring something to the table. Mm-hmm. I have confidence. I'm okay with who I am. I can always be better. Yeah. But I have all these built-in things from things I've been through in the past, mm-hmm. things I haven't experienced yet, things people have told me, things I've seen, things I've read. Mm-hmm. You take all of those things and you keep moving forward. You don't give up. You don't quit. And please, please, please Don't let somebody tell you what you cannot do.
Absolutely.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
This topic ain't trust everybody else's instincts.
Yeah.
Just trust your own instincts.
Do not let somebody else tell you what you cannot do. I mean, listen what that sounds like. Karyn, you can't color your hair. Karyn, you can't do this.
You got a luck on that one, y'all.
It doesn't even sound right. She wears gold hair, not for Mingo. Karyn had gold hair when I met her.
Sure did.
So I love her gold hair. That's what I'm used to. That's what I like. But I'm just saying, don't let somebody tell you what you can't do, because if you succeed at it, wow, you were part of it. But if you fail at it, you get to hold yourself accountable. I don't want to fail at something that somebody else told me to do.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because the way people work and the way life works is, if you succeed at something, everybody gonna say, I knew you could do it.
Yep.
But if you fail, they're gonna say, I told you so. That's just the way life works. So if you accept that and you got that right, what we talk about, ecosystem around you, you can move forward and have a great life.
Yes, and it's important also to kind of block the noise.
Yeah.
When Mingo's talking about other people and what they think you should do, that doesn't mean you don't take advice from people who've been through things. Because if that's the case, you wouldn't be listening to us.
Because it's called wisdom.
Absolutely. We're here to offer advice, and that you can, like my grandma used to say, that you can use it, that you can't, don't use it. If you can't use none of it, throw all of it away. But we're here to offer advice. So it doesn't mean that person may not be effective if they've had an experience that you're going through and want to offer you advice. But if your gut, like with us being entrepreneurs, for example, we love entrepreneurship, even in its own hardships or you got to learn how to make all the decisions. You don't have anybody that you can go to make decisions for you and all of that. But instinctively, that is what we do. That is who we are. That is what we love. So, and for me and my family growing up, like both of my parents are educators. My I have grandparents, cousins, my sibling. Everybody is a teacher, and even though teaching is, probably something I'll transition into in terms of like being able to teach in college, teaching wasn't my thing. Yeah. I can't sit and to be confined like that all day. And somebody, little child, say something to me. I just don't know if I could.
I'm the wrong makeup for a
like I don't have that.
I got jokes.
So but instinctively I knew I didn't have it, and so I knew that wasn't the path that I actually wanted to take. I wanted to go into politics, but I didn't. Even though I'm still very interested in it, still the point is that instinctively I knew. That my place was not in the classroom. Yep. And so even though my family wanted me to encourage me or try to push me into that, down that path, it just wasn't the path for me. So we're not saying that, you can't hear what other people are saying. But like I said, I knew me teaching for 20, 25, 30 years, teachers are very special people.
They are.
Very special people. And I just knew that even though I could probably teach, the capacity to do it on the level that I expect myself to be able to do it on, the level that I expect the teachers to have, the teachers to have for my own children, I just felt like that wasn't the best place for me.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you just said. It's when you are being pushed for something that doesn't feel natural. You had that instinct all the way back then.
Yeah, and then
you didn't know how to explain it or identify it, but you just knew, if I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be the best teacher I can be. And I know that who I am as a person at this stage in my life cannot give that in that capacity.
That's right.
See, I may help children in another way. I may do a summer program or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's good. I'm big on real world experiences being brought to kids.
Yes.
I think they should know what's going on. So I respect you so much for being able to say,
thank you, babe.
Hey, it's like walking against a crowd. The whole crowd is coming this way. You're the only person going that way. That's what it feels like when you're being asked to do something is not natural. And that's why it's few and far between people who know how to identify this. We're not saying these things because we just talking about make-believe and what could this have been like. We telling you about from experiences.
That's right.
I've been on a job before after a week and like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
I'm not staying 2 weeks because these 5 days, this ain't it. This ain't what I'm called to do.
Yeah.
And when you find those kind of moments in your life, you go be okay. Now, I ain't saying be foolish and just jump out there and you can't pay your bills.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying have a game plan. Don't stay there for 25 years and then be bitter at the end of 25 because you were scared to make a decision.
Yeah, because you were doing something that wasn't natural to you and that didn't feel like it was supposed to feel. And so in trusting our instincts, it is so vital, so important that you pay attention to what you're feeling. Pay attention. Sometimes that means you might have to sit in a quiet space and really sort through your thoughts and sort through your feelings to see where you are with this. You know, whatever decision it is, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's for a job, whether it's, you know, even what you buy at a grocery store, you know, not sit down at the grocery store, y'all, never mind. Don't do that. But just take some time, roll it back and filter through it and just see what it is that you feel like you're going to need to do. And, you know, also don't doubt yourself, right? Make sure that you're trusting. You can trust you. I'm here to tell you, you can trust you.
Yep.
You got this.
Best person to trust.
You are the best person to trust. You got this. You don't have to try to figure it out. It's really in you. Just trust yourself to make the right decisions. And, you know, just make sure that also that when we say follow your first mind, it's what comes up, whatever comes up first.
Yeah.
When you're doing something, when you're making a decision, when you're navigating something, whatever thought process or whatever comes up first to you, that is what you trust. That is what you listen to. That is how you don't doubt yourself. That is what you pay attention to. And so we thank you all so much for listening to this show. We appreciate your support and your comments, and we wish you so much happy relationship building.
Happy relationship building.